The USA is an acronym for the United States of America. And I think these acronyms or abbreviations are a great way to process information. If ever I have to study for something, I will use acronyms or abbreviations where possible, as they help me to learn and remember important details. So, with that in mind, I want to present to you the following acronym: Shoppa Cafe. Shoppa Cafe. So that means coffee shop in Irish, and we're going to use each letter from these two words as the basis for learning new words and phrases to do with eating out in a restaurant or a coffee shop. Let's start. So naturally we'll start with shoppa. S. Let's look at the verb sig, which means to sit. So that could be useful, a useful verb to use in a coffee shop or a restaurant. Sig. Hiamer shias. We sat down. Hiamer shias. Skuana means a queue. Skuana. So you could be waiting in a queue at the coffee shop or at the restaurants. Some foods then, that's good to know, beginning with the letter S. Solon, which means salt. Solon. Scaloga, which means chips, or in America they're called French fries. Scaloga. And suv, which means jam. Suv. Moving on to I then. So two great verbs here. I, which means to eat, and iach, which means to pay. So dihamar iad guler. We ate them all. Dihamar iad guler. Diachamar on billa. We paid the bill. Diachamar on billa. Moving on to O. Another good verb here, of course. Ol, which is to drink, and ordig, which is to order. So, for example, dole she cup on tea. She drank a cup of tea. Dole she cup on tea. Of course, the verbal noun egg ol could be used as well here. That would be quite convenient. Egg ol is drinking. Just like egg ordu is ordering. Egg ordu. And speaking of the verb ordig, dordiamer nismo te agus coca. We ordered more tea and cake. Dordiamer nismo te agus coca. Moving on to P. Plague is the Irish verb to discuss. Plague. For example, flaig sheed a. They discussed it. Flaig sheed a. Egg play is a useful verbal noun that means discussing, and it could also be used for talking or chatting. Egg play. Flaig sheed a, egg am te. They discussed it over tea. Flaig sheed a, egg am te. Pancog is the Irish for pancake. Pancog, something you would be more than likely able to get in a restaurant or a coffee shop. And plodaha means packed or crowded. Plodaha. Moving on to A, awork is a great verb here. Awork. So awork is the Irish verb to look. Awork. Egg awork goma, looking good. Egg awork ar an miachlár, looking at the menu. Egg awork ar an miachlár. Egg awork hort, looking around. That could be something you do once you step inside the coffee shop. Egg awork hort, looking around. Moving on to C then. Canig is another really useful verb here. Canig is to buy. So for example, Canig me kishti. I bought cakes. Canig me kishti. Kishte and caca can both mean cake. Kishte and caca there. For example, pisa ella caca. Another piece of cake. Pisa ella caca. Cara is another good word to have here, beginning with the letter C. Cara is a friend. You could be meeting a friend at the coffee shop. Cara Moore, a great friend. Cara Moore. Moving on to A again. Let's look at some foods this time as opposed to verbs. Aran is bread. Aran. So for example, aran bon, white bread. Aran bon. Anra is soup. Anra. Anra glasri le huchter. Cream of vegetable soup. Anra glasri le huchter. And anlan is sauce. Anlan. Anlan down. brown sauce. Anlan, down. The letter I is next. Earnón, for example, means afternoon. So you could be meeting somebody in the coffee shop in the afternoon. Earnón. Iasc is fish. Iasc agus scalóga, fish and chips. Iasc agus scalóga. And ispini means sausages. Ispini agus brútín. Sausages and mash, or bangers and mash. Ispini agus brútín. Im is butter. Im, which is something you might have on your scone or on your roll. Im. Chobug leis an im, as soft as butter. Chobug leis an im. Moving on to the letter F then, frastali. So frastali is a server or a waiter. Glach an frastali an tordu uin. The waiter took our order. Glach an frastali an tordu uin. Fog is a verb beginning with the letter F, as you can see. So fog means to leave or to exit. Dogmer ag manle. We left at midday. Dogmer ag manle. Fiol is meat, fiol. Fehiv is the Irish word to wait, fehiv. And that could be used in conjunction with skuna up above, which is a queue. So for example, ag fehiv sa skuna, waiting in the queue. Ag fehiv sa skuna. Our next letter then is E, and here we have the verb agrig, which is to organise or to arrange or to plan. Agrig. Vi crinu agrathe sa siopa cafe. A meeting was arranged in the coffee shop. Vi crinu agrathe sa siopa cafe. If you enjoyed this study skills video, please hit that like button and let me know in the comments section some of your tips for remembering words and phrases in Irish. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Slán go fóill.